Hi, guys. So, in trying to talk to you guys a little bit more about, early on when first was incarcerated and being on the yard for the first time and trying to figure out my spot and surrounding myself around a lot of people, but mainly the guys that have been down for quite a while. I talked to you a little bit about getting involved in sports, and I know that that might not seem like a really important thing, but what it became is literally the crux of what educated me in helping me hone in on who I was and being different than the kid that I was before I came in. See, sports is very demanding, and I was very athletic and inclined, but I didn't know enough about sports. And I mean, I walked into the sports arena and I was basically just looking like a goofball, and I was all right, but I never played sports before. I was running around partying and drinking and getting high. So I really did throw myself into, learning. Um, in prison, it's kind of weird because it's like the dynamic is all about if you're not playing sports, if you're not the guys, then you're pretty much nobody. It's weird, or at least when I was growing up. And the guys that I played sports with early on, these were the guys. These wasn't PlayStations and stuff like that. These are guys that were getting scholarships to BSU and to Washington State University and to BYU. These were top level um, guys that were being scouted, AAA ball, stuff like that. And what they did is they wound up selling somebody dope or got busted getting high or whatever the scenario was for them. And they ended up doing some time, and I ended up doing some time right next to them. And it's really amazing. And again, there's so many little things that for me God put in front of me to say, here, let's try this. And I really did take to sports quickly. I love the atmosphere, I love the energy, and I love the camaraderie. You know what I mean? And it was positive, but I didn't know a lot about it. So I walked into that situation, and I'm surrounded by, again, I'm surrounded by a lot of people I don't know, and I'm wanting to fit in, but I'm also wanting to check this new thing out. And so I wasn't the best at all, not even close. So I would go in while everybody else was doing whatever they were doing. I was there from dusk to dawn, all day long, every day. And that was new for me. Applying myself and focusing myself and my energy and giving everything that I had over the full measure of who I was into this so that so I could fit in. Wrong reason, I know. Right idea, doing the good, doing something positive. But to really apply yourself and to just do that, it was sacrifice that I never done before. I never did that kind of sacrifice. I never just said, nope, not going to go ahead and have fun and do this, that, and the other. I'm going to work my butt off to understand and to learn and to become better at this. Not in education, not in anything really, just never did. And so I was coming up against something pretty brand new. And so after time goes by and everybody else is doing whatever they're doing, they're already good. They're already the best at what they do. I started getting better. And I started really seeing some results. And again, this is the first time I've ever seen apply yourself, achieve positive results, discipline and sacrifice, and you become something more than you are. And another dynamic, so we're playing these games and I'm getting better, and it's getting to the point where I start to learn a little bit more of the dynamics of sports, which is teammanship. Think about family. It's kind of a team. backing each other up. I never backed anybody up in my life. Helping each other when they're down, when they're failing. What's that? Understanding how to fail and still try again. Well, I've failed and I'm done. That's what I used to do. Screw this. This is dumb. I can't do it. There's no way this is going to be something that I can do. I've had it. I mean, that's a lot of the things that went through my head when I was younger, growing up. So now all of a sudden, I fail, and I'm about, fuck that. Let's go. Let's try this again. And I really started to become somebody that was okay with understanding that failure is a part of the journey to success. I would get in my head. I'd beat myself up. And that's a part of the freaking growth too, is not letting that be an anchor around your neck that holds you to the ground, preventing you from getting up and trying again. And so that's something that I really started to be like, failure sucks and I hate the taste of it, so I'm going to try harder and I'm going to learn more and I'm going to get better so that those failures become less and less. Now, anybody can beat on any given day. Anybody that plays sports out there, if you're worth half your salt, you know that failure is just simply a part of the journey in anything you do, especially sports. Football, basketball, softball, volleyball, anything. And I did it all. And it was literally from one season to the next, to the next, to the next. And I just, boom, I was in it. So I think a lot of part of it is, that social interaction and talking to people and communicating to people. And it's no longer just about you, because I was all about me, self-centered and focused on just what makes me feel good and what I can do with myself to have fun. And so I also started learning about how to be graceful and humble when there is success. Nobody likes the guy that's like in your face, like, yeah, sup, loser? Nobody wants that guy around them. And you guys know what that looks like. And because you've been up against it, you've seen it, and it's an immediate turnoff. It's something that we recoil from because it's embarrassing. I'm embarrassed for them. But I've seen it all day long, especially inside. There's a lot of guys that just didn't know how to win gracefully. And I would, there'd be times where, man, we got our butts kicked and we're shaking each other's hand, which was another aspect that I appreciated, because what's that? We're in prison. Were you shaking hands? There was a code of honor a little bit amongst us players that, all the prison stuff, we set that aside. And this is about this. This is about the arena of competition, competing gracefully, honorably. And there you get guys that come into the field and they would wind up trying to, I'd say, molest that a little bit, try to disrupt that. And we wouldn't let them. I mean, they would for a second, but it wouldn't last. And they wouldn't last, I promise you. So I'd have guys, the old timers, tell me, hey, head up. You did good. Good try, man. Next time. Any given day, Sean. And I learned that, and I took that with me, and I go back to trying harder, and go back to learning and studying the game. God, studying what? Studying education? Boo, right? So there's all these little things that I just never did when I was growing up, and now I'm doing it because I want to do it, because I become interested in evolving my personality and interested in how can I become better at this. And I didn't realize that it was spilling over into other aspects of my life, my other relationships with my family, the friends that I had on the streets, for when those were available. I can remember we went to do championship game and walking down the line and shaking everybody's hand, and I recognized myself in the guys that had lost, because I'd been there. And I remember telling these guys as I'm walking by, You did great, man. The only thing different was on any given day, and it just happened to be our day. Don't quit. Keep going. And that's what I was being told. And I think that that's really kind of when you start to pass that stuff along. And so this stuff is educating me and growing me into a different person, and I don't even realize it at the time. But I want to be clear. Still getting high. I'm still doing silly stuff on the side in regards to self-centeredness. But this was a new aspect, and it's sort of like started to really take hold of those other things. And in my journey, I'll tell you as I go on how all of a sudden, the arena of sports changes me completely on a platform where I become somebody with integrity. Yeah. There's no cheating in sports. Not in prison. Having honor. Being courageous. Diving in front of a ball that is hit at you at what feels like you're staring down a 30-06 and you're diving for the bullet. And if you miss it and it hits you, you're done. To be brave, to stand in the arena again. It's like, all right, here we go. Let's do this again. Let's try. To be successful, to make that play, to be victorious, but do so with grace. So many little nuances. And then I get into refereeing, umpiring. Because now you're the holder of the rules and laws of that arena. And you're holding people accountable. What? Guys in prison do not go well with holding each other accountable. You guys know what I'm talking about. And yet when you blow that whistle, you just told somebody, hey, you just messed up. And I know that that's breaking it down, but those are the things that really embedded in me. It's okay to get uncomfortable and to confront things that are not okay, and to uphold and lift up the rules and laws of what it is that you stand for. And in that arena, it's sports, So I think that and then you have to really start to mesh in all those little dynamics with your real world. And my real world was prison as a whole. But it was shaping me as a young man. And every year it did more and more. It's uncomfortable refereeing and umpiring and doing those things because you really kind of feel like a cop. And in prison, that's not a thing. There was a time where ESPN came out and they did a documentary on referees in prison. And because it's such a oil and water, it goes such against the grain of saying, of holding each other accountable. And then when you walk out of the sports arena, you feel like you just flip that switch and turn it off. But the thing is, though, is that you're still it's who you are after time. You start to do those things and be a part of those things and hold yourself accountable and doing that stuff. Pretty insane. By the way, that day they came in, I was playing, and I just happened to run back an 80-yard quarterback run. So, whatever, just saying. But anyway, I want to give you guys a little bit of that today, just because I wanted to sort of tell you that, that was the jumping point of my journey and how I started to really become someone different. And I didn't really know at the time how that was going to apply across the board through all the dynamics of a person and stuff like that. So there's something to be said with that. So it's kind of cool. I'll tell you guys more later. I do appreciate your time today. Again, subscribe down there so you can get alerts when I do actually post these, and have an awesome day.